I did this a little bit more than a month ago, and I beat my score by Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today I am headed to the gym to do 23.1. And the weird thing about this is I just did this workout less than a month ago, which I don't know if I'm a fan of. Some people at the gym are pretty excited that we did it recently. Not me. It just feels too redundant, and it's also weird to have such a good idea of what the workout is supposed to feel like. Maybe with the open energy, it'll feel a little different. But usually, like, I go into these open workouts and I have no idea what it's gonna feel like. And it's exciting because of that. And this one, it just feels too familiar for an open workout. But it is an open workout. It was an open workout when I redid it. I never did it initially. I wasn't CrossFitting in 2014. I started in 2015. So that was my first Open, 2015. I actually started CrossFit in 2014, but after the Open. So I never did the 2014 Open. So I guess on a technicality, it'll be an Open PR because I have never done this workout. But last time I did it, I couldn't get a muscle up. I got some muscle ups, I think I had like a minute, and I didn't get one. So today, the goal is going to be to get back to the muscle ups and to hopefully get one. I would be very happy with just one muscle up. So we shall see. We're heading over there. There's a couple other people doing it this morning with me. So let's see how it goes. Again, it's like weird. It's weird knowing what it feels like, but maybe it'll help. We'll see. You wanna give me a high five? High five. Good boy. Love you. Love you. Just judged someone, and that makes me more nervous because they they look pretty beat up after it. Starting out with a nice big pull on the rower, trying to get that fan moving and those calories counting up. I'm doing something a little bit different for this video. I decided to do a voiceover for this portion of it instead of doing just some music with me working out and cutting it up into little bits and pieces. I thought I'd show you the whole thing and give you some tips and tricks from my experience as, you know, a more normal athlete. I know a lot of the big name athletes put out things like this and they're doing incredible things, which is awesome to see. But if you're more of an average CrossFitter like me, maybe this is a more accurate interpretation of how it's going to go. You just saw that guy walk by. That is Coach Jackson. He gave me some tips before this workout, which I will let you know about in a bit. Right now, I'm in the middle of that 60-calorie row. That is a long time to be on the rower in an open workout because you're all excited, your heart rate's jacked, you're ready to go. It's the first open workout. And the woman who is judging me right now, I judged her prior to this workout that I'm doing. And she started with pulling 1,400 calories an hour, which is very fast, especially for a woman. Men could probably get away with that, but she started there and she stayed there for a while. I was very impressed by her ability to pull on the rower. She did end up falling down to about 800 near the end. So for me, I tried to stay more between 900 and 1,000 calories per hour on my row. I probably started out closer to 1,200, 1,100, and then settled in closer to 1,000, high 900s. And that was good for me. One of the tips my coach gave me before I started this workout was to make sure to get your breathing in on the rower. Like, get into a breath scheme, make sure your heart rate's not getting super jacked up. Just calm yourself and focus on your breathing during that row because your heart rate gets jacked up in this workout a lot more than I remembered, and I just did this recently. Always having a judge kind of makes it a little bit different because it's just a little bit more exciting. Your heart rate's probably a little bit higher before even starting the workout because you know it's the open. So I definitely felt the heart rate get pretty high in this workout. Not necessarily here. Here I felt like I was kind of cruising. I sort of knew what the woman next to me did for this row. And I am looking at a clock over on the side. I don't think you can see it in this shot. We were going to use the clock that's above that door that says Diablo CrossFit, but it would not change past that 99:01 time that's on it. We think maybe the batteries are dead. So we had to pull over another clock, and it's slightly off camera. Wouldn't be good if I was submitting this video, but this video is mostly just for YouTube. So I put a little clock on the bottom so you can see my time. It's probably more visible than it would have been if you could just see it in the shot. So that's probably pretty good for you guys. So I'm finishing up these calories. When I got to 50, I went a little bit hard for a bit, just for 5 calories, some nice strong pulls. And then the last 5 calories, the 55 to 60, I tried to slow down a little bit and get my heart rate a little bit lower so I was ready to go onto the toes to bar. So moving on to these toes to bar, I first went and grabbed some chalk because, you know, you always need chalk. And I didn't really have a great idea of what I wanted to do here. I just kind of went based on feel. So I got some chunks out of some bigger sets. That way, you know, it's just always nice to get a set through versus starting with singles. Although singles is definitely a strategy you can do on these toes to bar. And you will see I go to that near the end, like the last 8 reps or so. But right now, just getting some sets in. Had to take that shirt off because this is CrossFit. Can't wear a shirt during CrossFit. So I took that off and then just tried to get back to the toes to bar. I tried to make my rests fast. So I actually got off the rower slower than the person I judged prior to me. But I ended up getting off the toes to bar faster because I kept it as sets and I tried to just hop off and hop back on. While doing this, I feel like my rests felt longer than they look now that I'm watching it back. It's so odd how different it feels in the moment, but I do think watching it back, I kind of step back, shake my arms out, and then step back up, except here when I'm getting a chalk break. But for the most part, I just step back up, and start doing sets. And I ended up going to small sets. Like this was a 3, but I think after this, I ended up going to a bunch of 2s because that's just what I had. Your core kind of gets blown up, probably from the hinging also that you're doing on the rower and then going into these toes to bar. So I've listened to some other people and I've watched some people do this workout, and singles definitely is a strategy if you're not great at toes to bar. This did work for me. I'm pretty happy with how the toes to bar went in this portion, but if you are not as good at them, definitely consider doing the singles. And each time I just sort of shake out my arms, trying to get the blood flow. I'm probably also a little in my head already because I know how much I dislike wall balls, and you're about to see that. I got no repped on one of the toes to bar. I'm not sure if it happened already or not. My toes just didn't touch, which is not something that happens to me very often. Oh, I think it was that rep. I think it was just that rep we just saw. So I got no reps, but other than that, I pretty much was able to knock out these toes to bar, shake out my arms, and hop back up. But went down to singles. Here are those singles. Just swing, hit my feet, come back down. And that's an okay strategy. Like if you just jump back up, and I've seen some people turn around and do them. I don't like that as much because I get a little bit dizzy. So I just jumped off, jumped on, hit my toes. Oh, I did a double there. I guess I was just excited to get done. Definitely not excited to do those wall balls though. Okay, and we are off to the wall balls. Initially, we had talked about sets of 5. That doesn't happen initially. I am wearing black pants on a, I got a no rep in there. I think I got a no rep on the 3rd one. The no rep kind of discouraged me a little bit, and it just felt like my rhythm was off, so it made sense to drop a little bit faster. And that was another no rep. And then I went really, really high to compensate for my no rep. and now I'm taking a walk because I think I was a little bit frustrated. With this new standard where you have to hit the middle of the target versus the bottom, it's just a little bit farther, and wall balls are not something I particularly enjoyed to begin with. And now we throw in a slightly higher standard. I mean, it's probably like another 6 inches. Not crazy, but as somebody who just doesn't do really well at these, I felt it a little bit. And when I did this less than a month ago, I, probably hit the bottom of the target more because that wasn't the rule at the time. The standard we usually went with was hits the bottom of the target and not like the top to the middle. So I just adapting, but I got into better sets, I think, as I went. And as I realized I got my accuracy on point and was no longer getting no repped, I felt a little bit more confident. So that gray line is 9 feet, trying to hit the middle to the top of that versus hitting the bottom like we did in the past. And just trying to stay in this because for me, wall balls are one of the harder things. I did look down at my heart rate at one point. I wear a heart rate monitor around my chest, but it syncs to my watch, so I'm able to see the numbers projected on my watch. And on my watch, I saw that I was at like a 187 heart rate. So wall balls just jack up my heart rate. I'm not great at breathing during them. I'm going to try to work on that specifically, breathing on my wall balls, but couldn't really change my breathing today. I wanted to, but open workout is probably not the place to do that. And I do realize I'm wearing black pants on a black wall. I don't think I realized the bottom of this wall was black and not gray. I think the other room, it's gray. I think you can still see my squatting, though, pretty good. They have a little bit of a pattern on them, so they're not solid black. I'm a big fan of black, though. We do have teams for our gym, and their colors are red, black, and blue. I'm actually on the red team. That's why I wore a red sweatshirt, but I'm a big fan of black leggings. I have a lot of those. So I think we're wrapping these up. Oh, we are done with the wall balls. Took a while, but we are going to the barbell under 9.5 minutes. Did one clean, going to get some chalk, but wanted to get that one clean in just to feel like I was moving. So these, I think it's reasonable to think you're going to do them in about 3 minutes. That's 10 reps, like a little over 3 minutes, 10 reps a minute. I think that's a pretty decent pace to be doing 30 cleans this far into the workout. And I think singles is the way to go. I think at one point I did do a double, but I would advise singles. Watching the most elite people in the world do this workout, they were mostly doing singles. So unless the clean and jerks are really your jam, probably makes sense to do singles. Or possibly if you're really just going for the tie break time and there's very little chance or no chance you're going to get a muscle up, it probably makes sense to go a little bit ham on the cleans. I was hoping to get a muscle up. So my coach, his name is Jackson Miller. He's just a coach at our gym. He had seen me do this workout a month ago, and he kind of advised me to maybe go a tiny bit less hard this time. Although I looked at my heart rate here and I was in the 180 still. But go a little bit less hard because I need to save myself for the muscle ups. I can do a muscle up. I did one muscle up before this workout to make sure I can do them because they've been hit or miss lately. And when I did this a month ago, I got no muscle ups. So it's not worth finishing a couple seconds faster and not getting a muscle up if I'm pretty confident that's something I can do. If you know it's something you can't do, finish faster. Finish these clean and jerks faster. There's a tie break time. But if you have one and there's a chance you could do one, then it kind of makes sense to save yourself a little bit. I'm going back to this bar pretty fast. While doing it, I felt like I was being really slow. There was one point, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I think I'm chalking my hands. There was one point during this workout that someone said to me, another rep, do another rep. And I was like, I can't. My heart rate was just so high. But watching it back, I don't think I was as slow as I felt like I was in the workout. Like I'm pretty much going back and picking up the bar. My coach, oh, there's the double. My coach did tell me to use my legs more. I'm bad at using my legs. I just don't have strong legs and want to rely on everything but my legs. But I think I did a little bit maybe. But we're just finishing up these cleans. This is when it got really hard. I think this is when I was told to, keep going. And I was like, I can't. But it just, it's a grind. You got to keep grinding on these cleans. You got to do what you can to just go back to the bar as quickly as possible. I've heard some people talk about doing them sort of in segments, like know that you're gonna do 5 quick singles and then rest, 5 quick singles and then rest. But I just tried to just do quick singles as much as I could, minimize the rest, and just pick up that bar pretty quickly and a single each time and not get too far away from it. So that's my advice. Stay close to the bar, because once you're far away from the bar, it's harder to get back to the bar. So 12:44, I think, that's when I finished up the clean and jerks. That was my tie break time. It's a little bit over a minute to get muscle ups. So all my equipment is that 8 feet apart. So my muscle up rings are way more than 8 feet, but I figured I could use the rest and the walk. I chalked up my hands over there, and now I'm just trying to get my heart rate a little bit under control so that I can make this, having done this workout recently and not making a single muscle up, even though I had time. I wanted to make sure I felt a little bit better to get it. And there we go. I got my first attempt. Pretty happy with that. And, you know, then I just kind of knew, like, okay, I got one and that was the goal. So if I can get another one, that's just a cherry on top of it. So I am going to try to get another one because I do have still 30 seconds, but I did take a bit of a rest there because as someone who's not as good as these, I need a little bit of a rest. Second one was a little bit funny, but caught it, got it, locked it out. There's 2. I only have about 15 seconds left, which is not a lot of time, especially when I need a little bit of rest to get my heart rate down to do these. I am going to make an attempt. This will be the worst one. Oh, I didn't really want to commit to it. I feel like I didn't have enough time. I probably would have had enough time to get it if I really tried. I just was unsure and didn't feel ready to do it. I jumped up faster than I would have if I had the opportunity to rest as long as I wanted to. So that's it. It was a pretty good workout. Just trying to recover on the floor now, it looks like. But it was harder than I anticipated it being, even though I had done it recently. I think I put a little pressure on myself to make sure I got a muscle up, and that always jacks up your heart rate even more when you're putting pressure on yourself. And did it by myself as opposed to with a group of people. That always changes things. But I kind of like doing it on my own versus Friday Night Lights, just get it out of the way. And then I can also use the rings I want to use the bar I want to use, as opposed to when you're in Friday Night Lights and you're all fighting for equipment. So that's kind of why I ended up doing it here as opposed to Friday Night Lights. And sometimes I have work and can't go to Friday Night Lights, but not this week, so I guess I could have. But I was happy I did it alone. I got to use the rings I like to use. And, you know, feel pretty good that I got those 2 muscle-ups. I would have loved to get that third one. But other than that, it was a good workout. Make sure you pace yourselves if you do it. It can get rough. Your heart rate gets up high. Pacing's important, and allowing yourself some time to get to those muscle-ups if you can. Or if you're trying to go for a tie break time, just really hit those cleans as hard as you can. If you can do a muscle-up, this is a pacing workout. You want to make sure you're keeping enough gas in the tank to do a muscle-up. If you can't, then you're really going to want to start going harder earlier in the workout. That's my advice as your average CrossFitter. Just finished up, and I had done this a little bit less than a month ago. I'll link that up here, which is funny because it ended up being the repeat, but did this a little bit more than a month ago. And I beat my score by 2 reps. I got 182. I think my tie break might have been about the same or possibly just a little bit slower, but I was kind of going a tiny bit slower, trying to at least, like, I don't know, try to maintain my heart rate a little bit, although my heart was beating fast. But 2 muscle ups for me, and this was really good because last week or last month when I did it, I got 0 and I did have time. I think I made 2 or 3 attempts and got none. I actually made 3 attempts in the last rep. I had like 10 seconds to do it, and I just rushed it because I was trying to get it done in that time and not being great at muscle ups and not being super efficient at them. I didn't know if I could like do the whole thing in that 10 seconds, so I just panicked and rushed it. But 2 rep PR, those are 2 big reps. Every muscle up is gonna be like big separation on the leaderboard. So for me, I am happy that I got 2. Okay, I just had to rush home because my dog is being groomed. Maybe I'll put a little photo or video or something of him being all groomed and pretty. Carson, show everyone how pretty you are. You just want to roll around now that you're clean. Just want to try to get dirty. But I was pretty happy with how I did. Having done this workout less than a month ago on January 20th, now it is February 17th, and getting 0 muscle ups, even though I had time to get muscle ups, and getting 2 today, like that's big for me. I'm really happy with that. My muscle ups have been super inconsistent, so to be able to get 2, I mean, I couldn't really ask for more than that. Would have loved to have gotten that 3rd one that I did attempt, but 2 is good. I'm happy with that, hoping that's going to be okay on the leaderboard, close to quarterfinals qualification. I don't know. I don't know what the women look like in the sense of doing muscle ups at the end of a taxing workout. So we'll see. Of course, the elite athletes can easily do it, but what about the rest of the field? I'm not entirely sure. But I also want to make a video in a couple days predicting what the workout is going to be for 23.2. I kind of mentioned what I thought 23.1 was going to be in a previous video, so I want to do the same thing for 23.2, but I also want you all to participate too. So if you made it to this point in the video and you're seeing this, make sure you leave in the comments what you think 23.2 is going to be. I might choose some of those and put them in the video and say if I think that's close or what we're gonna see. So make sure you do that. Leave your predictions for 23.2 in the comments below. I will read all of them and use some of them in a video. 23.2, it should be a little bit easier to get an idea of what we might see because there were so many movements in 23.1. Usually movements aren't repeated. There have been some exceptions. I believe burpees were in the open twice one year, but now with only 3 to 4 scored events, depending if there was a part B on one of them, I feel like we're less likely to see a movement appear twice, but you never know. Anyway, leave those in the comments. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.